The Brazilian Grand Prix then, it nearly always entertains coming up this weekend, and we've already got Friday's qualifying session in the books. We prepare, of course, for the sprint race tomorrow, even though we're not meant to call it a race. But let's have a recap and a little bit of fallout from what happened in Friday evening's session. I'm Ollie Wilson for GPFans. You should hit the subscribe button down below to stay up to date with everything that we do here at the channel. And this is a recap of the last Friday afternoon qualifying session the 2021 F1 season.
Lewis Hamilton took pole in Friday's qualifying session before Saturday's sprint qualifying in Sao Paulo as Mercedes showed surprising pace at Interlagos in Brazil. Thanks to a fresh internal combustion engine that will ultimately cost Hamilton 5 places on the grid for Sunday's race, Mercedes showed untouchable pace as Hamilton set the tone through all 3 sessions of Friday's qualifying. In an ideal world, it means that Hamilton, should he hold on to top spot through Saturday's sprint qualifying session, the last one of this season, the 7-time world champion will line up 6th on the grid, although that is no guarantee, with potential surprises through Saturday's session still a possibility. But for Mercedes to come to a track where Red Bull has been considered the heavy favourite leading into it to set such a blistering pace will keep Hamilton fans very happy heading into the rest of the weekend and the remainder of the championship. The first runs in the all-important Q3 session saw Max Verstappen a quarter of a second behind his championship rival, while Valtteri Bottas sat a tenth of a second off the top 2. But Max would get no closer as the Dutch driver failed to improve on his initial run, while Hamilton stretched his lead, putting in a 1 minute 7 second .934 run to take pole position by almost 3/10 of a second. Red Bull will take solace in that Bottas was unable to leap ahead of Verstappen on the final runs, meaning that should the championship leader hold his position on Saturday, he will be lining up on pole for Sunday's race, with Sergio Perez finishing Q3 in 4th. Pierre Gasly was the best of the rest, as he was in Mexico, finishing 5th for Saturday's sprint qualifying session, with the Ferraris of Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc 6th and 7th, followed by McLaren's Danny Ricciardo and Lando Norris, with Fernando Alonso wrapping up the top 10. The other most notable performance of qualifying came from Nicholas Latifi, who, despite dropping out of Q1, was able to outdo his teammate George Russell for the first time in 34 races in a conventional qualifying session. But Saturday belonged to Hamilton, and despite the grid penalty because of the change of the ICE, it seems that Mercedes have turned up in Brazil with plenty of pace and power. Looking ahead to the rest of the weekend, Hamilton said, "It's not easy to follow, but I guess Max is obviously starting from pole now, so it's going to be very hard to catch him, but I'll do my best to try and get through the field. I don't know what tomorrow will hold. I think the weather will be perhaps better, which makes it a bit more difficult for everyone, but I feel really grateful. It's crazy because it has been a while Hamilton last set the fastest time in qualifying back in Hungary, so it just feels like the first." Mercedes had also been facing logistical problems this week, with a delay to their freight leaving Mexico that really impacted their preparations on Thursday. Paying tribute to the team for the effort they put in, Hamilton added, "Just a big thank you to the team because they've been working flat out. It's been so hard coming from the last race for everyone at the race. Going from one race to the other, taking the car apart and rebuilding it. Just the man hours is insane, but today was a really good qualifying session. I'm super happy with it. We've got the penalty, but we give it everything we've got."
So the grid is set for tomorrow's sprint session on Saturday. But who do you think will be coming out trumps and taking the advantage going into Sunday's normal race? Let us know in the comments section below if you think Sao Paulo is going to be a success under the sprint session as well, and your overall thoughts on what you think about this new format for Formula One. Love hearing about your thoughts on whether you think it's going to be good next year with 6 races having this style of qualification, or whether you think it's just a bit unnecessary and we need to stick with what we already know in F1. Let us know, as I say, in the comments section below. Hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with everything we do here at the channel, and get onto @GPFansGlobal on Twitter and Instagram as well to stay up to date with all of our live updates and the breaking news from the world of Formula One.